Hello guys, I hope you can see okay. I know I'm a bit dark. Look at that lovely view behind me. I'm in my bedroom at the moment. Obviously with the lockdown, my son's off, making loads of noise downstairs, so I'm trying to go upstairs, get a little bit of peace and quiet, so we shall see how we get on. The first movie I watched in April was Ladies in Black, which I watched on the 3rd. This is a Netflix movie. It is a perfectly pleasant, nice little movie. It's one that will probably appeal to girls. It's set in the 50s, I believe. 1959 in Australia. It's a bit windy. The wind's getting up a bit here with this curtain. Yeah, so it's set in the 50s. It's about a group of ladies that work in a posh department store, and it follows different aspects of their life. I really enjoyed it. I found it really interesting. It's not going to appeal to a lot of people, but if you like a nice story and sort of like following characters and acting, you'll enjoy it, I'm sure. I give it 3 out of 5. You'll find 3 out of 5 is a very popular score from me, from things I enjoyed but wasn't blown away by. On the 11th, I watched Outbreak. So they put Outbreak on Netflix, and with everything that's going on, we watched Outbreak, obviously about the deadly virus spreading. We also watched last night Contagion, which is even scarier because it's about a virus that emanated from China, and it's like, I think it was made in was it 2018 or 2008? I can't remember, but it's so spot on with what's going on right now. But yeah, Outbreak is the one with quite an old movie, 1995. It's with Rain Man, Dustin Hoffman. Hang on, Lisa, scroll down, scroll down. Why is it not there? Is it not down here? Sorry, this app's different. Dustin Hoffman, Rennie Russo, Morgan Freeman, Kevin Spacey. We will ignore the fact Kevin Spacey's in that. I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. Really interesting. I enjoyed it when I first watched it many, many years ago. I gave that a 3.5 out of 5. On the same evening, no, that was in the afternoon, I watched a Shaun the Sheep movie, Farmageddon. Obviously, Isaac really wanted to see it. 2.5. I was disappointed for this for a... What's the guys that do Wallace and Gromit? Lisa never prepares things, you will get to know this. Aardman Animation, usually I thought it would be a bit better than it was. It was okay, it wasn't too bad, but I thought it would be better. The funniest bits are in the trailer. Whoa, that's wind, folks. The next day, the 12th Trolls World Tour. I love the first Trolls movie. I love the songs and everything in it. Again, watched it with Isaac. I thought this one would be awesome because it was about all different categories of music. There's not just one troll world, there's all different places. And the one we got to know in the first movie was like the pop one. But there's like a rock one, and the girl that like runs it is evil, and she's trying to take over all the other different like country and western. And the music in it is awesome. But even the music couldn't save the storyline, was just abysmal. I didn't enjoy it at all. I did enjoy the music, but that was it. On the same day, the 12th, I watched a movie called Clemency, which I really enjoyed. 3.5 out of 5 I gave that one. It is about a female warden of a prison who is very hardline. She works in a death row prison, and it's very common for her to witness. She has to be there to watch the lethal injection. Years after carrying out death row executions have taken a toll on prison warden Bernadine Williams. She prepares to execute another inmate. She's sort of like beginning to get some doubts about the whole thing, especially since the last one that she performed went really badly wrong. I won't give you any details, but it's scary stuff. So what I didn't know when I watched this, and I've talked about this guy before, I apologise to all the guys out there, but Aldous Hodge is in this. He plays the inmate who is going to be executed. The guy's beautiful. He was also in The Invisible Man. He's in a few things. I didn't look at the cast when I watched this, and he popped. I was like, oh my god, it's Aldous Hodge! But yeah, Aldous Hodge. So yeah, Clemency, 3.5 out of 5, even without rating Aldous Hodge in it. On the 16th, Time Trap. This was quite an interesting little movie. This is another Netflix. Most of these are on Netflix at the moment. The occasional one isn't, but most are. Time Trap. This I give a 3 out of 5. It is about a group of students who somehow get caught in a weird sort of like glitch in time. They go into this tunnel looking for someone. I won't go into all the details, but they find that time inside the area they are is working completely different to time outside of it. Really interesting premise, really well executed. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. I would recommend that one. Time Trap. On the 17th, The Invisible Guardian. I'm trying to remember what. Ah, yes. This was one I had to watch because the follow-up of it. It is Lisa's trying. I think it's Spanish. She's trying really badly. Fernando Gonzalez. I'm guessing Spanish. I hope Spanish. There is a movie on Netflix at the moment called The Legacy of the Bones, and it looked really good. It was Spanish, but is that Spanish? Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm pressing all sorts of buttons now, and it said it was part 2 of 2 movies, The Invisible Guardian being the first, so I watched it first. So this is about is it French? Bastan. Oh, Lisa, I cannot remember if I think it's Spanish. I'm sure it could be French. Colin McFarlane doesn't really help me, but then we've got Minguez, that looks, and Fernando Gonzalez, that is Spanish. Right, anyway, whatever it is, it's a foreign movie. About a series of murders that are happening in a village. Female detective trying to get to the bottom of them. Is she in some way intrinsically linked to what's going on? There's like a pattern of the murders and when they happen and how they happen and why they happen. Really interesting movie. It's not as good as my idea of a perfect thriller murder sort of thing is something like Seven. I love that movie. That You Will Find This Happens. I've joined up to a thing in the local area and I'm just been inundated with beeps. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's not amazing, but it's, if you can bear watching something that's a good story, then check it out. The Invisible Guardian. Part 2 of which is The Legacy of the Bones. Follows the same characters, the same female detective. Inspector Amaya Salazar must return to the Bastan Valley in order to solve a series of suicides that seem to follow a familiar pattern. Legado en los Huesos, that answers it for me. It's Spanish. Oh, I love Spanish, it's such a beautiful language. On the 21st, Sea Fever. I like this as well. I think this is another Netflix. I can't remember for sure. There's so many things where there's obviously it's not Disney, but there's Disney Plus, there's Amazon, there's Now TV, and there's so many things I can't remember where things are or where I've watched them. This is about the crew of a West of Ireland trawler marooned at sea struggle for their lives against a growing parasite in their water supply. A little bit of old sci-fi sort of horror in this. Quite a poignant movie. Acting's really good. The ending I wasn't overly keen on, but it was a good movie. It was interesting, it was well acted, and it was something a little bit different, so thumbs up from me. Guns Akimbo. I loved this. I didn't know anything about this movie. It's got Daniel Radcliffe in. I've written as my very short review, delightfully zany and stylised with a kick-ass soundtrack and wonderful dark humour. I loved it. It's so good, and I would do you a disservice if I told you too much about it. If you like movies like, and I'm not saying it's like these movies, but if you like things like Sin City that are quite stylised, it doesn't look like Sin City, but it's got a very stylised feel about it, and the blood in it, all that sort of thing, but it's not naff. I loved it. An ordinary guy suddenly finds himself forced to fight a gladiator-like battle for a dark website that streams the violence for viewers. Miles must fight heavily armed Nix and also save his kidnapped ex-girlfriend. It sounds awful. It's really gory, it's really brutal, but really funny at the same time, and that sounds like a hard balance to get, but it manages it perfect. I loved it. So check out Guns Akimbo. I don't think you'll be disappointed. It's brilliant. On the 23rd, The Plagues of Breslau. I think this one was... I miss the time when I can look to the bottom and it tells me where this is from. I think this is Polish, I believe. Again, it's on Netflix. This is another serial killer female detective trying to get to the bottom of what's going on. Quite a mediocre story, but the special effect, I don't know other way to put this, the corpses in this movie are awesome. The special effects, the practical special effects on the dead bodies, they look so realistic. and it's an interesting enough movie to follow, but it's never going to be a blockbuster. But I liked it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 again. Lisa, 3 out of 5. Extraction on the 24th. Right, everybody's talking about this movie with him that plays... I can't even remember. Chris Hemsworth. What is it? Is it Thor he plays? That a lot of women are very, you know, like, yeah, he's very attractive. He's just not my cup of tea. I didn't like this. I'm just going to be honest. Most people loved it. My husband didn't like it either. He felt very similarly to me about this. Tyler Reck is a fearless mercenary who offers his services on the black market, embarks on a dangerous mission when he's hired to rescue the kidnapped son of a Mumbai crime lord. Exactly what it says in the tin, loads of action, car chases which last half an hour, which does my head in, can't be doing with it. It's just an all-out action movie with really good sort of stunts, special effects, if you're into that sort of thing, which I'm not. So I'm not the captive audience for this, so it's not really my bag, shall we say. The acting's perfectly fine in it, special effects are really good, stunts are really good, just wasn't for me. I don't want to watch two cars chase each other for half hour. 27th, Motherless Brooklyn. Right, I haven't rated this yet because I didn't watch all of it. I was really tired on the night I was watching it. This is one with Ed Norton. He is trying to investigate his boss's murder. Why it happened, but he's got what's that when you can't help what you say? Tourette syndrome. It's very sort of like gangstery, which again I find quite heavy going. I'm not a big fan of that kind of movie, but the cast in this movie, I mean, Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, Alec Baldwin. You've noticed I skimmed over her because I can't say her name. I'm not even going to try because I'll embarrass myself. Willem Dafoe. Anyway, it looks good. Again, I don't think it's going to be my cup of tea. I haven't watched all of it. If you like things like, was it called Irish? What was that one with on Netflix? A really, really long one with Robert De Niro in, and it had the word Irish in it. Irish, The Irishman? I can't remember. If you like that sort of thing, you'll probably really like Motherless Brooklyn, set in a very similar sort of thing. Wind's getting up a bit. On the same day, The Turning. This wasn't good at all. This is on Netflix, I think. It's a horror. A woman goes to work as a nanny in this big mansion looking after this child who's a bit weird, but her older brother, played by the guy from Stranger Things, Finn Wolfhard, he's just mad. He's just not a very nice person. He's really off with her. Things are very strange that are happening. They're playing jokes that aren't funny and they're really cruel. But something else is going on underneath all this and she's trying to get to the bottom of it. There's a really sinister housekeeper that will hear no wrong that the children have done. Their parents are both dead. It's okay. It's not amazing. I wouldn't even say it's particularly good. The ending I found somewhat interesting. It did bring it up a little bit in points for me to a 2. But it's alright. On the 28th, The Lighthouse. This is one with him that was in Twilight. Hang on, Lisa, scroll down. Robert Pattinson. And I'm sat saying to Darren as I'm watching it, when's Robert Pattinson going to come in? And I was looking at him, I didn't recognise him. Let me see if I can. Actually, he is recognisable. Oh, that's got glare on it, doesn't it? He is recognisable in this photograph. It's about 2 lighthouse keepers. It's set very, very dark. Everything's done in black and white, old style filming. It's very hard to work out what they're saying in a lot of it because the accents are so... Apparently they had voice coaches and the accents are spot on. 2 lighthouse keepers try to maintain their sanity while living on a remote and mysterious New England island in the 1890s. It's a very different film and it won't be for everyone, but the cinematography in this is beautiful. It's like an acting masterclass to watch. The acting is fantastic, the cinematography is beautiful. If you can sit down and watch a story and not expect anything spectacular to happen within that, check this out if you want to see some really good acting. Also with Robert Pattinson is Willem Dafoe, again fantastic actor. So that's The Lighthouse. I think I've only one left. Yes. And on the 30th, Lisa, for flip's sake, Murder to Mercy, the Centoya Brown story. Right, I can actually stop recording. How do I? Right, I think I've done it. Centoya Brown is a young girl. She was 16. She had a really rough upbringing, but the woman that looked after her was a very decent, good woman. She had good morals, but this girl was a bit wild and she wouldn't apply to rules. She ran away from home. She got into drugs. She was sleeping around a lot. She finally got into prostitution, kind of pushed by a pimp. She was 16 and she murdered a man. And this is a true story, sorry I didn't say that. And this is the court case and follows what happened. Did she do it on purpose? Did she do it to defend herself, as she claims? It follows her through many, many years to what happens in the end. I don't want to obviously tell you that, but it was interesting. I find myself being quite torn with how I felt as I watched it. I probably will do a video about it, so I'm not sort of like go into what happened and how I felt now, but yeah, it's an interesting one. It's on Netflix right now. So yeah, I will not prattle on needlessly. I will tie this up now. I've been talking long enough. What have you watched recently? Anything good to recommend to me? Let me know below in the comments. Hope you're all well and dandy, and I shall speak to you next month for what I've watched in May. Over and out from Lisa Loves.